Okay, so here we go. We're applying for credit. Okay, so we're going out there actually trying to secure that loan, right? So what is it that the actual creditors are looking for? This is the 5 C's. Again, these acronyms are helpful to kind of help you remember. They were looking at the character, your character. Do you pay your bills on time? Capacity. Are you at your debt ratio? Is your debt ratio within line where it really has to be? Can you repay the loan? Capital. What are your assets? What do you have to back up? What are your assets and your net worth? What do you have that's in the event that you're not able to pay it? The other alternatives, if you will, for your creditors. Speaking of which, the collateral, what property that you're able to pledge against that if you default on the loan. So for example, if you purchase a car and you put 20% down, you have a 20% stake in that car. So there is the collateral. Makes it's easier for lenders to participate if they know that you have something to lose, right? You've got some skin in the game. Conditions, what are the economic conditions that could affect your ability to repay the loan? Is your job, did you just lose your job? Things along those lines. Additionally, age, public assistance, and your FICO and Vantage scores will be certain, they not may be assessed, but will be assessed. FICO and Vantage scores, those are scores like characterizing, that are quantifying your risk that's out there. Meaning, the higher the number, the lower, the less the lower the risk that's associated with lending you money, right? Extending you credit. So the FICO score again, it's Fair Isaac. I forget the name. It's Fair Isaac Corporation, I believe, is what it is. Yeah, Fair Isaac Corporation. Excuse me. So they're looking at from the largest portion of this pie that they're scrutinizing of you is your payment history. How are you paying your thing? Your are you paying your bills on time? The next would be at 35%. The next would be amounts owed would be at 30%. How large is your outstanding debt? 10% would be the types of credit that you're using, meaning are you using just installment payments? Do you just have car payments and paying for appliances and so on and so forth? Or do you have a mix of different types of credit that you're actually using, including, the open-ended and closed-ended? How much new credit do you have? That's the next piece that kind of comes into it. And lastly, it's actually at 15% is the length of your credit history. The longer your credit history and the better your credit history, the better off you are. So that's why when you're older, you tend to have more access to credit, assuming, of course, that all the other categories are kind of in line. So that's the FICO score. The Vantage score is a bit different, and they're looking more at it in terms of like algorithms, meaning that they ignore negative credit history, depending upon the situation, affected by natural disasters and some different types of, modeling, if you will. Predictive scoring for those with short credit histories. Again, when we're looking at algorithms, it's moving into that AI territory, trying to get a better flavor, more of a dynamic scoring type of a scenario. Interesting stuff. That's our credit history, though. This is our picture of what we look like to our potential lenders that are out there. So always keep this in mind that you are. It's not personal. It's a number. You are a number. Scary thought. So again, what happens if your application for credit is denied? You can ask questions, of course. That the ECOA or the credit act that's out there gives you right to know specific reasons for the denial. If the denial is based on a credit report, you're entitled to know the specific information, why it is that they're not extending your credit. After you receive the information from the creditor, you should contact your local credit bureau to find out what information is it actually reported. Okay, so you would actually be going to that bureau to ask what it is that is being. You can ask. You may ask the bureau to investigate any accuracies if there is some issue where they missed payments and so on and so forth. You can get that corrected. In fact, I urge you to do that if that in fact is the case. So how to improve your credit score, getting copies of your credit report, again, at least on an annual basis, pay your bills on time, understand how your credit score is determined, that FICO, for example, or the Vantage score along the same lines, follows very similar paths. So learn the legal steps needed to improve your credit report, and beware of credit repair scams, okay? There are good organizations out there to help you, but for the most part, you should be able to kind of fix most of these issues on your own. Having said that, so again, having said that, there are various like Fair Credit Billing Acts. There are a number of acts that are out there to protect you, us, we, the consumer, right? These are set up to, to help us out in the effect that there is some dispute that comes up in case of like a billing error. First contact your creditor, and if the dispute exists, notify the creditor of an error within 60 days. Billing error meaning could be the wrong address, could be whatever, the wrong amount, and try to address that so that that can be resolved. Credit card companies are very keen on doing these things because they're always looking out for any type of a fraud situation. If there's a charge on your card that shouldn't be there, they'll do the research for you. You should do it as well, but they will certainly. So your credit rating is not affected while this dispute is going on. So keep this in mind as well. Your credit during the dispute will not threaten your credit rating when we're resolving the billing dispute. Once it's resolved, then things, that's when it comes down. So make sure that even if they answer your complaint and it's not to your liking, you want to make sure that you follow up. And when I say follow up, you want to make sure that you write your disagreement. Make sure that there's some copy of that, whether it's email or whatever. You want to make sure that you have something formally done in that regard. So when we're talking about withholding payment, it could be defective goods or services, and typically, again, your credit card company will try to resolve the problem with the merchant. So this is always good to have them on your side in this case, right? If you have your identity stolen, contacting the fraud department at each of the credit bureaus to let them know. Again, Experian, TransUnion, and I forget the other one, but you want to contact these people to let them know, to flag your file for a fraud alert. And there are various ways out there where you can actually stop, aside from just contacting your creditors, you can stop any kind of transactions that are in your name out there. So it's something to always kind of keep in mind. But the most important thing, again, is to contact people immediately. Contact your creditors. If it's been tampered with or some fraudulently accessed in some way, shape, or form, and file a police report. I've had to do this myself. I had to file a police report based on someone accessing my account, and it's just due diligence on your part. You have to do the best you can, and these things do happen. And also, you can always file complaints with the Privacy Rights Clearinghouse. So you can also, at least let them know about these things, and also through the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. So if you do have a complaint about your whatever it is that your credit card or whatever, you should contact your creditor and let them know to try to resolve the problem, up front. And if that doesn't work, there are a variety of other more formal complaint procedures you can follow. Again, the consumers have significant protections out there, and this is developed over time. There's a Truth in Lending Consumer Leasing Act, Equal Credit Opportunity, the ECOA mentioned before, Fair Credit Billing Act, Fair Credit Reporting Act, etc. You have rights out there as a consumer. So keep this in mind. You can file a complaint with the government. If all else fails, you can always sue the creditor in a federal district court. And again, this is something, there's always that option. There's always some legal recourse that you can take if it gets out of control. And this is not, there's nothing fun about this. This is difficult, but it's very serious stuff because your credit is terribly, terribly serious.